Here is Lesson 17, the Living Constitution, and this one's going to be pretty short here. Our TEKS for Lesson 17 are 16a, that I can summarize how the U.S. Constitution is amended and why you would do this. So thinking of the future, the writers or framers of the Constitution wanted it to be flexible to address the needs of future Americans as the country grew. So they created a living document that would last but be flexible enough to change. So they created a procedure to do this. And that procedure is described in Article 5, which is making amendments. So it describes the steps for passing amendments, which are changes or additions to the Constitution. Now, they deliberately made this procedure long and difficult to prevent unpopular or unneeded amendments. They also set high bars for acceptance so that any amendments would have broad popular and government support. So our first step is the proposal. And to propose means to suggest or submit for approval. So for a proposal, this requires a vote of 2/3 of both houses of Congress or 2/3 of the state legislatures. Now to get 2/3 of either of those, Congress or the state legislatures, that's a pretty high bar in order to even get an amendment proposed. Now to pass one is even higher. Step 2, which is ratification, and to ratify means to approve or agree on. This requires a vote of 3/4 of the state legislatures or 3/4 of the state at a convention, and only the 21st Amendment has been ratified this way. By the way, if you're asking or wondering, there are at this point 27 amendments to the Constitution, which includes the 10 which were part of the Bill of Rights. Now notice that Congress can propose an amendment, but only the states can ratify one. And this is again part of the federal system in which the framers wanted any actual changes to the Constitution to go out to the states and not just be done by the federal government. Another way in which the Constitution is flexible is achieved through the Elastic Clause. And this is Article 1, Section 8, Clause 18 of the Constitution. The text of the Elastic Clause gives Congress all powers necessary and proper to enact the other powers listed by name, which are called the enumerated powers in the Constitution. The powers under the Elastic Clause are also called the implied powers. Some people think that the implied powers, or the powers given by the Elastic Clause, have gone too far and been stretched too far to give government more power than the framers originally intended. So let's review our lesson here. So question 1, why is the Constitution called a living document? The answer? It is flexible and can be changed as the country grows. Number 2, how is an amendment proposed? The answer? By a 2/3 vote by Congress or state legislatures. Question 3, how is an amendment ratified? Again, ratified means approved. The answer? By a 3/4 vote of the state legislatures or in a state convention. Question 4. What is the only level of government that can ratify a constitutional amendment? The answer? The states. And question 5. What are the powers under the Elastic Clause called? And the answer? Implied powers. And that concludes Lesson 17 on the Living Constitution.